Cicero versus corruption, the man who took Rome. Marcus Tullius Cicero, a Roman statesman, orator, and philosopher, is often remembered as one of the most pivotal figures in the late Roman Republic. His legacy, both as a brilliant speaker and as an astute political figure, stands as a beacon of Roman values, particularly the ideals of justice, integrity, and public duty. However, his career was deeply entwined with the fight against corruption, a battle that not only shaped his life, but also the course of Roman history. Cicero's rise to prominence occurred during one of the most tumultuous periods of Roman history, characterized by political instability, social unrest, and a growing divide between the elite and the common people. At the heart of this instability was corruption, not just in the Senate, but also in the judicial and political systems. Public offices were frequently bought and sold, and political decisions were made based on personal gain rather than the good of the Republic. The rise of Cicero. Cicero was born in 106 BCE to a relatively modest family in Arpinum, a town located in central Italy. Despite his humble beginnings, he rose to prominence through his education and oratorical skill. Cicero's orations and legal acumen won him respect and eventually led him to a position in the Senate. His career trajectory was not without challenges, however. As a man from a provincial family, he faced skepticism from the aristocracy, but his talents made him an indispensable figure in Roman politics. In the early stages of his career, Cicero sought to align himself with the ideals of the Republic and its ancient traditions, including the belief that Rome's political power should be wielded for the benefit of all its citizens. Cicero was appalled by the rampant corruption that had taken hold of Roman politics. The Senate, once a body dedicated to the interests of the Roman people, had become a den of patronage, bribery, and backroom deals, fighting corruption with integrity. Cicero's most notable confrontation with corruption came in 63 BCE, when he was elected consul, the highest office in Rome. His term as consul was defined by his efforts to root out corruption and defend the Republic from both internal and external threats. One of the most infamous moments in Cicero's political career was his handling of the Catilinarian conspiracy. Lucius Sergius Catilina, a former senator, plotted to overthrow the Roman government and assassinate several key political figures, including Cicero. The plot was uncovered, and Cicero, as consul, took decisive action to prevent the coup. He delivered a series of impassioned speeches in the Senate denouncing Catiline and his conspirators. These speeches, known as the Catilinarian orations, became some of the most famous in Roman history. Cicero's oratory not only exposed the corruption of Catiline and his followers, but also positioned him as the defender of Rome's traditional values. However, the trial of Catiline's associates was marred by corruption within the Senate. Despite the overwhelming evidence against them, some senators sought to undermine Cicero's actions in order to protect their own interests. In one of his most controversial decisions, Cicero ordered the execution of several conspirators without a trial, a move that would haunt him in the years to come. The price of integrity. While Cicero's actions during the Catilinarian conspiracy solidified his reputation as a defender of the Republic, they also earned him enemies, many of whom were deeply entrenched in the corrupt political system. His decision to execute the conspirators without a trial was seen by some as a breach of Roman law. In the years following his consulship, Cicero's political enemies used this as a weapon against him. His integrity and commitment to justice made him a target for those who sought to protect the corrupt status quo. Cicero's life after his consulship was marked by political exile, as well as a growing sense of despair over the fate of the Republic. His efforts to restore stability to Rome through reforms were constantly thwarted by corrupt politicians, and the rise of figures like Julius Caesar only exacerbated the situation. Despite these challenges, Cicero never ceased advocating for the preservation of the Republic and the values that had once made Rome great. In the end, Cicero's fight against corruption did not save the Republic. Rome eventually succumbed to autocracy under Julius Caesar and later his heir, Augustus. However, Cicero's legacy endured, particularly through his writings on philosophy, law, and ethics. His speeches, letters, and philosophical works became a cornerstone of Western thought, influencing the development of Roman law and the ideas of republicanism. The end of the Republic and Cicero's death. In 43 BCE, after the assassination of Julius Caesar, Cicero's political enemies, now aligned with the Second Triumvirate, Mark Antony, Octavian, and Lepidus, marked him for execution. Cicero was captured and killed, and his head and hands were displayed in the Roman Forum as a gruesome symbol of the consequences of opposing the new regime. Yet even in death, Cicero's ideals lived on. His fight against corruption and his belief in a just and balanced government would continue to inspire generations of political thinkers, revolutionaries, and leaders. Cicero's life, filled with successes and failures, was defined by his unwavering commitment to the values of the Roman Republic, particularly his staunch opposition to corruption. His story serves as a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the pursuit of integrity and justice remains a worthy cause.